Aduro Clean Technologies, developer of a novel plastic recycling technology, is up 11% just today and over 100% over the last year, sitting at 143 million market cap on the news of signing an MOU with GF Building Flow Solutions Americas. In this video, we will review what this agreement entails and what it could mean for Aduro. Before we start, if you're just learning about the company, I'll link my write-up on Aduro in the video description. I'd recommend going on Substack and reading that first to understand the investment thesis behind this company. Now, GF Building Flow Solutions is a provider of the IIPR piping and plumbing brand for water transportation. This piping product is made out of cross-linked polyethylene, PEX, which is incredibly difficult to recycle through the existing technologies in the recycling space, and we'll get more into that later in the video. But something important to take note of is that this was one of the unnamed multi-billion-dollar companies that had begun testing with Aduro's technology approximately 8 months ago. Given positive results in their Phase 1 technical evaluation phase of Aduro's customer engagement program, GF decided to proceed to collaborate further. So we've now named Shell, TotalEnergies, and GF Building Solutions. There are still 3 other potential multi-billion valuation firms that are unnamed in the customer engagement program and could decide to continue testing with Aduro. And those 6 companies are just the ones that we know of that are testing. Even more are watching Aduro's results to see if they might want to collaborate as well. Of course, a memorandum of understanding with GF is not a very sticky collaboration agreement yet, but this is another sign that Aduro's technology works on hard to recycle plastics, and it's good to see GF wanting to test even more. Cross-linked polyethylene is almost entirely made up of high-density polyethylene, PEHD here, which as of 2019 made up approximately 12.4% of total plastic production. So that's around 50 million tons of the plastic produced per year, as there is 400 million tons in total. And a little more about who Aduro is working with. GF Building Flow Solutions is a subsidiary of Georg Fischer AG, the building materials conglomerate listed in Switzerland. The company trades at an approximate $5.8 billion market cap in USD. After their acquisition of IIPR, the company has added piping, fitting, heating and cooling, fire safety, among other product lines. Obviously our focus is on the piping here, but this is another significant potential partner for Aduro. It's worth noting that this isn't the only technology that GF is testing with. In 2023, IIPR, Nest, WasteWise, and Borealis announced the companies had collaborated to successfully circularly recycle PEX plastic. WasteWise is a company that has managed to successfully recycle PEX plastic with their novel form of pyrolysis, which is typically unable to recycle this type of plastic, but their version can. WasteWise recycled the plastic into pyrolysis oil, which was processed in Nest refinery in Finland. That feedstock was taken to Borealis' steam cracker to form new polyethylene, and finally, IIPR took that polyethylene and created new PEX piping. So these 4 companies managed to complete a whole life cycle of a PEX pipe, from recycling to new plastic again. So there are other technologies that can recycle this plastic as well, not just Aduro, but there's no confirmation that WasteWise is even doing this at scale yet. I couldn't find any production or recycling numbers from them, or even what the capacity of their recycling facility in Nokia, Finland was. But yes, this is another partnership that IIPR has with a plastic recycling company. With that said, we have no idea if this partnership has continued at this point. I can barely find any details online. But moving on, just as a thought exercise, let's go through what this MOU might mean for Aduro in terms of revenue. GF Building Solutions Americas, which was GF IIPR North America previously, has total capacity to produce 875 million feet of piping. Let's say that they managed to produce that number. It could even be more than that since this presentation was from 2023, but let's just go with that confirmed number for now. The most common sizing for PEX piping is 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1 inch. Now take the average of that in pounds per foot. We get about 0.12. And 875 million times 0.12 gets us 105 million pounds of PEX piping. Convert that into tons and that gives us a total of 52,500 tons of PEX plastic production. Now we don't know exactly how much of that ends up as waste, and they have a goal of recycling 100% of their plastic waste through closed-loop recycling into new plastic. So for the sake of the argument, let's just say that they want to recycle 100% of that 52,500 tons of plastic waste that they produce. Let's say they want to recycle as much as they actually generate. Then we can look at Aduro's financial projections here. When recycling 8,500 tons of polyethylene annually, Aduro would generate 1.5 million in licensing revenue. Multiply that by 6 to get them close to 52,000 pounds, and Aduro would generate approximately 9.5 million in licensing revenues to recycle that plastic. So if we're just going off of the GF building solutions and what piping IIPR produces right now, the amount of revenues from this potential partnership is not anything crazy. Now with that said, 10 million in revenues is nothing to scoff at either, especially when we're currently generating near zero. I think the larger takeaway with this deal is proving out that Aduro's technology can recycle these difficult plastics, and that the larger PEX, also called XLPE market, has 2.5 million metric tons of new plastic produced annually. Hardly anyone is addressing all that plastic waste. Anyway, you can see how these numbers would scale rapidly when we're talking about companies that produce millions of tons of plastic waste like Shell or Total Energies, among other petrochemical firms. In fact, in a recent interview that Eric Appelman, Aduro's CRO, did with The Chemical Show, he mentioned that the company has at least 10 petrochemical majors all over the world watching their progress closely, which is absolutely insane. He also mentioned that the waste management companies are getting interested, among other sectors. And as I mentioned earlier, there are still 3 unnamed multi-billion valuation companies testing with Aduro already. So the interest in this company from various industries is through the roof, and they're proving it more and more as more of these firms are willing to enter solid agreements and tie their names to Aduro publicly. Things could get very interesting once the company finishes its final pilot recycling unit, which is expected to happen early next year. If you'd like to learn more about Aduro and other investment opportunities in green sectors, then subscribe to my channel and check out my newsletter on Substack as well, link in the description. Thanks for watching.